live.
Okay, we're live, everybody. Today we have some new guests that haven't been on before. We have the beautiful Tani, we have the beautiful Anusha, we have the charming Trevor, and of course myself. I'm just gonna ask these questions and I'm gonna let it get back right onto you guys. The first question is, what's the best way to meet somebody for a serious relationship? Who wants to go first?
I don't think I got any good answers for that one. My method of meeting people is Hinge, and the amount of stories that I have from Hinge, I found one ex-boyfriend, but granted, he's an ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
But all the other dates that I've been on have been absolute whirlwinds of a story. Like, I'll do like a really quick shortened version of this one date that I went on. Somehow I started off in Newport Beach. We're at the beach.
Okay.
And randomly 2 hours later, we're at his friend's apartment and his friend's showing me his guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know how that happened, but I was holding a rifle, I was holding this handgun. How does this happen? Like,
wait, so you were down with it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually trust that second guy, so I had like a jacket on, so I pulled my sleeves like all the way up so I didn't get any fingerprints on it, but like I just didn't understand what was happening. I was like, you know what? I'll let the night take me where it takes me, but this is not quite what I'm looking for. And then I find out later that the dude that I was hanging out with in high school at age 15, he was dealing, not weed, but Molly, Zans, just anything that's crazy. I'm like, who am I hanging out with?
What kind of guys am I landing in the hands of?
Like, I thought you were just a nice little finance bro at Long Beach, about to make a little bit of money, but that's just not what I was expecting at all.
Welcome to Southern California. Oh. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I guess.
Wait, so you didn't like vet them out on the phone first and have like an hour conversation with them before meeting up?
That's the same thing.
Okay, well, I don't know. I feel like you can't get that same, you can pretend to be whoever you want to be on the phone. So for me, I think it's easier to just hang out with them in person and kind of feel them out that way. Like, I think vibes are just super important and you can't always convey them over the phone.
Do you think you did it because of that reason, or is it more exciting when you don't know anything about them and then you just meet with them? Because I feel like that's the reason why I would.
Honestly, that too. It's just so much more fun because when you get a story out of it too, it's like,
yeah, I
just
love this story.
Taken away by it.
But you waste a lot of time. That's the thing. You waste a lot of time.
But then you're on the podcast now and we got some content, so.
Yeah, but adventure. I would have
she
never
wasn't
had
thinking
this
about that
adventure.
during the time. I think you waste a lot of time. You're supposed to vet. That's what dating is. You're supposed to vet the person that you're looking to date. That's what dating is. You're vetting them. So when you just go out with somebody, it's a spur of the moment time thing, but you run into more situations like that than actual situations where there are 100% intentional.
Yeah.
So yeah,
my question is, did you keep talking to him after that?
No.
Oh no.
No.
That was a deal breaker?
So she wasted time.
Well, I think I wasted less time because I probably talked to him maybe for a day or two. Vetting takes a week or two?
Not really.
You think you can figure out their vibes in person or without meeting?
You can
them?
vet for a while.
You can vet for a while, but it doesn't take that long. I mean, you could talk to a person for 3 days. I mean, think about this, right? If you're really intentional, then you're texting that person throughout the day. So that's 72 hours. So you're texting them and then you talk to them at night. That conversation could be, let's say, 30 minutes to an hour, however long. And you make sure you ask the important questions that you need to know. Not the, let's just have a regular conversation. And not to mention, most people can't even talk on the phone anymore anyway.
All right, so this is subjective. I don't think you're wrong, Anusha. I think it's kind of fun and exciting sometimes to just meet up with them for the first time. But then again, if you're looking to just move quick and make sure that you're vetting and meeting the right person, then you don't end up in like gun situations.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about that after that happened. I was like, maybe I didn't go about this the right way.
But you have to make those mistakes on your own. Just because somebody's here telling you this doesn't mean that you're gonna learn your lesson until you do that on your own. I will
most likely still be doing, it's just more fun to see where it goes. I think I had I still talk to him a little bit before hanging out with him. So I was like, this is enough for me. But like, you're not wrong either. Like, he could have been a serial killer for all I knew.
The thing is this is where women go wrong. You all need to start doing things with. No, I'm being serious. This is where women go wrong. You need to do things with intention. Women do stuff for fun and excitement, and it ends up failing you in the long run. Stop doing stuff for fun and excitement. Do it with the intention. If you're going to date someone, date them with the actual intention to marry them, actually talk to them and make sure they're contributing to you being a good woman and a good mother to possibly their kids. You know what I'm saying? But you have to do everything with intention.
But then again, you have to also consider the timing in life, right? A girl who's 20, 21, I'm not saying she has all the time in the world, but she has some time to make.
How much time does she have?
She has enough time to make.
How much time does she have? Because
a few mistakes that will give her the kind of the depth to make sure that she doesn't make those mistakes in the future. You can't just not make any mistakes at all. So okay, but this wasn't the question. Let's keep on let's like stay on topic. Yeah. The question is, and you're next here, Mr. Personality. What's the best way to meet a girl in your opinion for a long-term relationship?
In person.
Okay, elaborate.
So, matter of fact, I'm going to switch my answer. I'm going to say in today's culture, it's online just because women today think it's disgusting for a man to actually come up and speak to them. If a man comes up and...
I disagree with that.
I
met these both the same way. Was I disgusting?
No, but guess what? You probably invited them on you probably invited them on the podcast when you spoke to them. Am I correct? You spoke to them and then you invited them on the podcast and they said yes. The thing is this: if you would have went and actually tried to holler at them and talk to them, they probably, if they were with their friends, they'd have been like, oh no, I already have a boyfriend. If they were alone, they would have been like, oh no, I don't want to do it. Most women don't want you to talk to them in person. They rather do dating apps because they can swipe.
I have to stop you there. Okay.
Go ahead.
I see the truth in part of what you're saying, but it's not true. Women, they still do like to get approached. Yes. That doesn't mean that it's always going to work though. The odds of meeting a girl off of a cold approach is a lot lower than if you guys were to both swipe on each other. But that doesn't mean that they don't like it and they're disgusted by it.
That's basically what I'm saying is that women will always like a man actually, going up and talking to them. But today,
okay, we're talking about you. What do you think is the best way for you to meet?
I think actually going to talk to females.
Okay,
I'm old school.
Okay, Tawny, it's on you. Mm-hmm. What's the best way to find somebody for a serious relationship?
I like it to come like organically. Like put yourself in places, locations that you like to do so you can find someone that has like a similar interest. So if you like to hike, join a hiking group, or
what was that power yoga thing that
yoga. I love yoga. I like meet people at a yoga class, or I love to dance. Go to a social place, Yeah, in person is big for me. I know we live in a generation where everything's done online, but I don't get enough, from just online things. Like texting for me is so dry. You can send an emoji, even like a FaceTime still.
Yeah.
I'm going to branch out a little bit. I do therapy work. I've been doing it all virtually. I met her in person. It was a completely different ballgame. When you meet someone in person, it's different than virtual. So in person, organically, and then doing it with intention too. I think like all of what we said, plays into it. And then just go off of like how you feel and whether they align with like your values, what you want in the future,
Okay, I want to just summarize what you said. The highlight that I think was actually like on point is do social activities and meet people within those circles of those activities. And yeah, I mean that's a good way. Like you're both doing a cycling class and you're like, yo, this shit's hard, yo, you better go harder next week, and it's like, so it's kind of a good common ground, right? To meet people. Okay, so I don't want to say what I think is best. I'm just gonna say all the ways possible that I think are possible. Going to a bar or a nightclub and just doing cold approach either by yourself or if you're with a group of friends, that's one way. Number two is dating apps, and obviously we live in a world where dating apps is just totally normal, and I think that's actually a really good way too.
Yeah.
The third way is through friends. You know, if we're all going to be playing Taboo later, you know, we'll all kind of essentially become friends, and then when we invite more people, we'll have more, you know, friends, and just like it doesn't have to be game night, but it could just be any kind of social circle type of dynamic.
Kickback. Those are always so cute and great ways to meet people.
I heard something like, what happened to house parties?
I know.
Like, they're not a thing anymore.
But you know, I heard nightclubs are dying too, though.
Oh, that's so sad to me. I've always wanted to open a nightclub.
Well, maybe we'll have like a new spin on it, and ours will be the one that takes over.
Yeah.
yours. Okay, so the other way that you mentioned too, I think that's actually really good too. Like, what if you guys are doing like a beach workout and it's like this, like, you know, fitness class or whatever, and you guys are both in the class, you know, like that's a really good way. Or and then the other way is hookers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It is California.
Okay. Does anybody have any more comments on the best way to meet somebody, and not for a long-term relationship, by the way, but for a long-term relationship? Any other ideas? Have you met anyone else besides one of those ways? That's usually how it happens, huh?
Yeah.
Or school?
Yeah, not anymore. I just
school's still in
graduated,
person. That's still, you know, that's still in person. So
I think it's different though. School is like an environment, or work. School and work kind of falls. Yeah. Would you guys date somebody from work?
No.
Why?
You just got to keep it professional at work.
I work remotely, so I just know that that's not happening for me, at least for a while.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, but I mean, no, I wouldn't date nobody at work, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. You can't help who you like.
I think as long as you know you're going to be dipping, you know, then you're like, yo, let me get your number, you know, keep in contact. But when you guys are there together every day, and then something might not go well, and then, but I have met a lot of friends that did meet their significant other from work. They might be in different departments, so they don't have to like be interfacing together all the time. And then what about gym?
Yeah.
I've met a lot of people at the gym, honestly, but
I don't know. I ain't never met nobody at the gym. I'm at the gym every day, and you know, I'm just headphones on in my zone.
But you could take 2 minutes out of your headphones to just be like, hey, you know, how you doing, and then get back right to it.
You're right. You're 100% right. I ain't gonna lie. You're right about that.
And that's how I met her.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, when I'm at the gym, I'm just headphones on, and you know.
I know what you mean though.
In my own world.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of girls say that too. Like, yo, when I'm at the gym, I'm lasered in, and guys too. But it only takes 2 minutes to say hello to somebody, and it's like, no, fuck off, you know, or okay, this could be a friendship. So
actually, I think the gym might be better.
Yeah.
The gym might be better than actually, you know, somewhere else. The reason being is because I think ladies might be more willing to talk to you.
Not just that, but like if you're looking for a serious relationship in the nightclub, you know, and she's going out drinking every night and doing all kinds of promiscuous things, maybe that's not the vibe that you want to meet. Maybe short term and friends and it's all fun and games, but for long term, gym, somebody that's taking care of their health and
is consistent, dedicated.
Well, people who go to the gym still go to the nightclub, so.
Yeah, but the environment you're meeting her at is under a different premise.
Yeah.
I think at the gym, though, what I think is super important is your approach to the person. Because some guys come off really creepy. They're like, oh, I love your body. I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave now. And I think once guys know how to treat women at the gym, because you're still noticing, like, there's people that are always staring at you, or, like, making you feel uncomfortable, but there's other people that I have met that have approached me in a very like friendly manner. I'm like, okay, like I feel comfortable talking to them, and I'd love to build relationships that way.
Do you look at things that are beautiful?
Yeah.
So is it wrong for a man to look at something that he finds attractive? Especially when you're in the gym, when you're most attractive and you're wearing this, you know, tight spandex and all this stuff. You think there's something wrong with that?
I think it's wrong if It's making me uncomfortable.
I think
Like,
it's wrong
my
if you're
body.
staring.
Yeah,
I think
staring
You're
is another thing.
sexualizing.
What is-
You see it in the eyes. Like,
I don't think. I don't think. And we're getting off subject, but I don't think most men are like sexualizing you. And in the gym, it could be some staring, but most men are like, "Oh man, she looks great."
Damn, I wish a girl would sexualize me.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know most men are like, "Man, she looks great." We look at things that are beautiful. We look at things that we're attracted to. I just think that in today's culture that a lot of women find, men looking at them as a weirdo thing when it's really not a weirdo thing. It's just that.
Yeah, but it depends on how you do it. If you just glance over, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
That's a
and
normal
I think that's
thing.
just the
But
way
A glance is
like
sneaky,
men
though.
are going to look at women are going to look at
Exactly.
men. It's just the way it is, right?
Yes.
But it's like the approach,
But-
don't stare,
and
make her feel
don't have her
uncomfortable.
catch you staring either. If you're staring from across the room and she's not really noticing, that's different. But if she sees you like
If she
this,
catches you, she catches you. If she catches you looking at her, she catches you looking at her. All of this, oh man, I got see, and that's why they make the memes on TikTok now. That's exactly why they make the memes on TikTok. Like, we got to be real. Men are gonna look at women. That's just the way it is, especially if you're in the gym. And I get what you're talking about, staring, like just being like this. But most men aren't doing that in the gym. They're doing this. And then they're getting back to what they need to go to.
and those men are not being called out on TikTok and Instagram. And if they do, everyone in the comments like, yo, that was just a glance, the dude's not staring. But if the dude
Most
is
men are not
making her
they're not.
uncomfortable, then there's something you got to work on your game with if you're making somebody uncomfortable from your stare.
Most men are not staring, they're looking. They're not staring. And I think the problem is just that women just feel like, oh man, he's looking at me while I'm doing all this stuff, it's uncomfortable. We once again, we look at things that are beautiful. We look at things that are attractive.
But you could be tactful about it. That's what I'm saying.
So,
Okay, next question. Let's see. Dating apps, yay or nay?
I'm gonna pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not nay, but just pass on the question.
No, nay. I don't do dating apps. It's not my thing. I don't know. I can't portray myself online to the extent that I can in person. I don't know. I don't like just. I don't know. It's
So
just
you've
not enough
given
substance
given
to me.
us a couple specific answers, like why? Like it's because you feel like either on your part or the other person's part, the communication is a bit drier than if you were just to meet them in person and spontaneous. It could be more fun. What about like the quality of guys on dating apps? What about the first dates that you've been on dating apps?
Yeah, it's
Like-
been so long since I've been on a dating app. I don't even have one downloaded, so I think maybe I can't speak too much on it.
Okay. Let's get the other lady's opinion. So Hinge was, and I feel like Hinge is probably the best one.
I agree. I've met my ex on there, and then I made another really good friend. I was friends with him. It was probably the beginning of my college schooling, and I was friends with him for 4 years until he had to move. So I think good can come out of it, but it's just hard. Like, I think I've been hopeless, so I'm open to pretty much absolutely any approach. Like, if someone talks to me at the grocery store, like, hey, like, I'm down. Like, we'll see where things go.
That's the point I'm at. I'm like trying to turn every rock over. Okay, so pros of dating apps for you is that it's a good way to meet people. You could end up having a relationship from it. What are some cons?
They could end up being weirdos. It's hard to see who someone really is for themselves behind a screen. Like, it's just, people are scary out there and you never know, which is why I end up, trying to meet them in person, because sometimes that makes things easier. It might be bad on my part because I'm not vetting them beforehand, but it just makes it easier to be like, okay, I'm meeting you in person. I didn't waste any time texting you, calling you. I'm going to see if I like you. Because it really only takes one hangout to see if someone isn't creepy and if you have the same values. So
What about quality of guys?
I guess I'll go like 40-60, like 40 good.
So
Like,
it's not like super
No,
terrible. It's
I
always
don't
like
think
you find
so.
some decent
Yeah, because I
people.
mean, a lot of my friends are on dating apps too, and I absolutely adore them. Like, they're amazing people. and like guys and girls. So I have hope. I think I'm being hopeful. Like I don't know if that's a fact, but I'm being hopeful that there's good guys out there.
Okay. Trevor, dating apps, yay, nay?
I would
Why?
say nay. And the reason being is from my side, the man's perspective, I think majority of the women who are on dating apps, I think so let's put it like this. I think dating apps is kind of like shopping in the clearance section. Sounds rude, but it's the honest to God truth. The women who are, you know, how do I say this? Like a lot of
you
them,
already said it pretty clearly. The
a lot
clearance
of them
section.
smoke weed.
I go to the clearance section sometimes.
Just
lot
you
of-
find the
But
best
that's
things
not
at
the
thrift
point. The
store.
point
Yeah.
is
Go to the
that
section all
They're low quality.
whatever's not able to get picked up, off first pick, that's like the last pick.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, continue.
So, but like a lot of the women smoke weed, a lot of the women cuss, a lot of the women are heavy drinkers, baby mamas, and I could go on and on. Now there are some nice women on there. I've been on dating apps.
But
and
just
I've went on
to interrupt
dates.
you real quick,
Yeah.
okay, I think I used to think that,
Mm-hmm.
but now with the Gen Z, they don't really communicate the same way that the generation before. Like dating apps is the primary way that they meet people, especially with the whole, like you said, you work remote and stuff like you're not going to the clubs and the nightclubs. So like, how are you supposed to meet somebody? Dating apps for somebody of your age, it's not the clearance section necessarily for Gen Z. Like that's the main way they meet people. So,
It's still the clearance section. It's still the clearance section.
Where do you think everyone else is finding their people though? Like
A lot of people. So it depends on what social circles you're in. Like he said, you might find them through actual friends, buddies, or whatever, or you might find them actually going out to a bar, maybe a club or whatnot. But yes, a lot of millennials, Gen Z are using dating apps, and I'm sorry, but the dating pool is terrible. It is. It's terrible, and I believe it's terrible for men and women. But from my perspective, the woman's side, it's the clearance section.
Okay, so you're against dating apps then?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna chime in on this. I think that dating apps are a really good way to meet people because, like, if you're on Hinge is not necessarily like the hookup vibe. Hinge is more of I'm looking for a serious relationship, and you hear a lot of people get into, marriages off of Hinge. And if I walk up to 10 girls in random situations, grocery stores, nightclubs, gym, whatever, I'm probably only, given that I'm so suave and everything, I'm probably only able to like pull 2 of the 10 girls, and even those 2, I don't know what situation they're at in that time of their life. But if I'm going on a dating app and she has it written in her bio, I'm looking for a serious relationship, then that kind of gives me an idea, okay, I know who I'm getting involved with before, even talking to them. So if I'm looking for a serious relationship, or if I'm not looking for a serious relationship, I know that this person is on the same page already. So I think dating apps are really good. But I also think that in person is really good too. Like that's how I met you too. And like from the minute that we met, it was just like, I'm not trying to like be all foo-foo rah-rah, but there was like a spark, like, okay, we could be friends, It wasn't like no weirdness. It was just like, okay, this is good. And how long did that take? Like how long was the first interaction that I met you?
Like a couple minutes.
A couple minutes. With you it was a bit longer because we were in a setting where we could talk longer. But like in the setting that we were in, it was like I didn't want to interrupt your set. I just wanted to say what's up and see how that went. And so like it could be really quick. But I think the pros of meeting in person is that you could just do the vibe test real fast. Mm-hmm. But the pros of dating apps is you can kind of know their intention before even walking up to them. So that's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah. That was great.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Okay, this is the one that you laughed at. The one that biggest mistakes people make on dating app pictures, and this goes for Instagram too.
Like,
We know you got some content
lay it
here.
on us.
Yeah, tell us
I think
what's cringe for you.
I'll just start off with like holding up their little fish.
Do you see that actually? Because I see
Yeah,
memes
a
that make fun of
lot.
guys, but I don't know. Really?
Yeah.
I'm confused. An
Wow.
actual fish?
Yeah, like they just
my
went
pet
fishing. No.
Oh.
They just went
Oh, I
fishing.
see what
They
you're
got
saying.
their
I see
little
what you're saying.
catch.
Okay,
But
I was looking like, what?
I think it's even funnier when it's like actually like it's a tiny little fish. I'm like, what are you trying to show me here?
Did you ever make fun of someone for that?
Well, I just hit X immediately. I'm like,
Right,
this is
right.
probably not my kind of person. Then usually what ends up happening is I go down through their page and then it says conservative. I'm like, I'm just going to pause back. As a brown person, I'm just going to not deal with any of that.
I can
I'd rather
relate to you
not.
on that.
I can't. Go ahead.
I mean, keep going. Do you have more?
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So the fish is kind of like, that's the male gaze, right? Like that, you can understand why guys like that.
Yeah.
But that's not what the girl is into. So you're like, yo, come on, like let's have some relatability here and don't post the fish. Okay, what else?
Let's see. What else I got? I feel like that would just be the biggest one that I can think of right now.
I'm not on the dating apps, but I feel like, I don't know. I don't want to speak for
Instagram
guys.
counts too.
Yeah, Instagram counts, right? Is it difficult for guys to find like a good angle of themselves, to get a good picture of themselves? Like, do you know what makes you look good?
To be honest with you, right? It's more so, I think for guys, it's more so we really don't care about pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know we got to take pictures for you, but me as a guy, it's just a picture. Like, all the angles and all of that stuff,
I totally disagree.
don't care about
Yeah.
it.
Not everyone's the same.
If I hire a photographer and I tell that motherfucker take 200 pictures, then I'll go through all 200 pictures and probably only pick 5 of them that I'm like, yo, I look fire.
Relatable.
You're right, but most guys, when you're just taking a picture with your phone, like, you really, it's like, who has more pictures in their phone, females or males?
Okay,
Males.
I can see where you're going.
I mean,
Wait,
females.
what?
Oh, yeah.
My bad.
Forgot your
Females
point.
do. Females do. So most guys, we don't really take pictures because we don't care that much. I mean, you look at like women will spend all day in the mirror. A man is like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So we really don't care about that stuff.
Okay, so other mistakes on dating apps, and this goes for Instagram too. And you asked the question of like, do we? I guess it's subjective, you know. I do.
Yeah, but we're talking about not just you, but we're talking about males in general. We're talking about the majority, not the minority. Majority of males don't care.
Okay, but I don't care what the majority of males do. I only care about what the 1% of top males that are getting all the money and all the females and all the high status type of activity. I'm looking up to those guys. I don't care what the majority is
But
doing.
they walk around with photographers. So when you talk about
That's
the 1%,
crazy. Really?
when you talk about the 1%, you're talking about people who walk around with photographers and people who take pictures of them. They're not
maybe
necessarily
not
taking a picture
necessarily
of them.
walk around, but they probably know a photographer that they can hit up and be like, yo.
Yeah, but most guys, if you look at, all right, let's look at it like this on Instagram, right? And let's even do dating apps. When you look at the guy's picture, you said a guy was holding up a fish. You really think he cared about that picture that he took? No, he didn't. He took a picture because he thought it was good because it was a picture. So obviously, if you just look at the majority of how guys take pictures, we really don't care about most pictures. We do try to look good or whatnot, but most of the times it end up being not attractive to you all.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, but going off of that, actually, I think it's kind of funny when people do post or on dating apps, they have like their professional like headshots. I kind of find that weird. I'm like, that is a lot, to be honest, because I like to see Hinge or dating apps as a little bit more casual. So I mean, I love those selfies. I think they're cute, like a little picture in the mirror, like just in the room or whatever.
But
I
you
love
didn't think
those.
the picture with the fish was cute.
I mean, it could be cute to other
See what
people.
I'm-
It's just not my type.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's just my no. Like
think
I
for-
think like other people would totally like that.
I think for most ladies, they don't think that's cute.
I think a guy should at least have one selfie
Yeah.
to show
yeah,
that
at
like
least
agree.
one selfie.
just like, okay, this is a normal picture that's
Yeah.
not done up or anything. But
maybe
I
like
agree.
one body.
Yeah, that's why
You
I
know?
love a good mirror picture. You
Yeah,
get to
good
see what they
mirror
look
picture.
I agree.
like, get to see a fit, get to see their style.
I agree.
I feel like I can think of things that I like more than I dislike.
Yeah.
You know?
okay, what do you like?
Okay, I like I want to see his interests. Like, does he like art? Like, are you creative? Do you like style? Are you into your family? Do you post your family every once in a while? Yeah.
So
like
okay,
that.
posting the family,
I like that.
that's
a
not
great answer.
unattractive. That's attractive.
Yeah, it's attractive.
It's sweet. It shows they care about with the people that raised them. They have love for other people that, you know, just isn't themselves.
Right. They're like highlighting the people that they care about on their page.
I like that.
Right?
That's a good answer.
Okay,
What do
so
you think?
me?
Yeah.
I'm asking you guys because I want to know what the girls think. I don't like it when girls have like too many of their friends in the pictures. Like maybe one picture that has like your friends to show like what kind of fun you're having. But if like 4 of the 5 pictures you have all your friends in them, I'm just like, I don't know. It's not that attractive for me.
How come? Because you don't know which one she is, or?
No, because I just want her to highlight herself, you know? Like, why are you hiding behind your social circle? Like, I want to know you.
Interesting.
Yeah. But
Never thought about it that way.
I want to see different angles of you. I want to see you in different lighting. I want to see you dressed up different ways.
I agree.
But one picture is fine to have like family and friends, but the rest should be solo, in my opinion.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's the best, if that's what works best. You know, I'm just saying off my intuition. Maybe statistically, you can get way more matches doing something else. Okay, so do's and don'ts of dating app pictures.
I didn't even get to.
Go ahead.
All right. So for me, I don't like when women over sexualize themselves in a picture. They're bending over, they're twerking, or even masculine. Have pictures where they're smoking weed. Getting lit. Drinking too much. Pictures like that. I would say that's a big no.
I just want to comment on that. I agree with that. I feel like when a girl's like holding a joint or holding a drink, it's like she's trying to like show off how much fun she is. But like we're in Southern California, everybody does that shit, you know? Like that doesn't make you any different from every other female. Right?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Like show something that's like more unique that makes you stand out, holding a joint or hanging out. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying everybody does it. Mm-hmm. It's like we all started when we were like, teenagers, the first time you had a drink, so it's not like you're not cool for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When they think that they're being cool.
Yeah, I think I like women who like in their pictures, they look very feminine. When we talk about dating, you're trying to potentially look for somebody to be your girlfriend / wife / mother of your kids if it moves that far, right? So I don't want a girl who's got weed in the pictures, over sexualizing herself, because at the end of the day, you're putting yourself in a category that, you're here for a good time, not a long time.
I agree with what you're saying. As far as like, it's not a good look for a mother and all that, but my reason is way different. My reason is, bitch, you think you're cool? Like, you are not cool, Like, this shit is, like, I'm not saying it's not cool to do it. I'm just saying you're trying way too hard, sweetie. So that's my reason.
I like girls to just live their life. Like, if you feel sexy and you want to take a picture, sometimes you're out with your girls and like, girl, I feel so good. Take a picture of me and you do whatever you want.
And that goes back to that fun thing, and it goes back, and I'm telling you, that right there, that attitude right there, it sounds amazing. But the way men think, you will attract the worst men. Mm-hmm. You're not going to attract somebody who's going to want you for a very long time.
It goes back to intention, right? Yeah, what your intention is.
Exactly. So
I think in that moment, if you want to show off your sexuality and be who you are, because you're a woman, you can do that and capture a picture and post it because that's you. And it doesn't mean one picture is going to define everything that you are.
You're right.
And it's going to attract one specific type of person.
It is actually. But
then you have that choice.
You do, and most women, and most women choose that person. But the thing is this, right? When women do stuff like that, they're not just taking one picture. Like I get what you're saying. It sounds nice, right? Just take one picture, live your life, girl. But no, they're taking picture after picture. They did it on this day, this day, this day. And guess what? women aren't ashamed of it. So they're posting it on Instagram. They're posting it on their dating apps. They're doing all of that stuff. And you say to yourself, why am I getting these type of men? Why am I attracting these type of men? Oh man.
I'm just gonna jump in. I've
ahead.
seen the pictures you post, and they're cute. You know, there's nothing about it that's like, oh, this girl's so promiscuous. When you're talking about a girl looking real promiscuous, it's like with her ass cheeks hanging out or her twerking. Like that's totally different. That's like you're just like you're walking a fine line when you know you're taking pictures like that. But I've seen the pictures you post. You're just like you're just feeling good. You're cute. You know, you're wearing a nice dress, and you just post that. And
those pictures are fine.
Yeah, those are cute.
I think we're talking two different frequencies here. Then
I think we are.
Yeah. But those kind of pictures are fine. But I'm talking about. I know you've seen some pictures where you're like,
girls, you don't need a man's approval to live your life. Do what you
Do
want.
whatever you want.
Live your
You're
life.
sexy,
you see, and
just
guess
the
what?
way you are.
That right there is gonna keep women single. That right there, that right there. Like I get it. It sounds nice. It really does. But in reality, that stuff keeps women from getting a actual good man. Because you're displaying something that a man wants, and guess what? He says, "Oh man, she's like this, so I'm gonna go after her," and you attract the wrong type of person. So that right there keeps women single. It sounds nice, but it's bad advice.
I think that if they're choosing to put whatever they're choosing to put out there, you know, they're giving that kind of frequency out, right? I
agree.
think that's exactly what they're going to get back. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like they're finding their person, and their person might not be the kind of person I'm looking for.
The thing is, they're not going to find a person. Majority of women want to be a wife. They want to be a girlfriend. They want to be in relationships. But you all don't realize that whole live your life, girl, do what you want to do, and you know this and that, over sexualize yourself and all that stuff. It's just bad for you. It goes against the person you say you want to be, and that's why most women are like, "Oh, men are trash," because of what you're attracting. You have to understand that, you know. And the funny thing is that most women don't understand it until some women understand it their younger years. But they don't understand it until they're 30 plus. Then they're like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. And they regret it.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You're just saying you get what you put out. So
yeah,
as long as you're not putting out anything too scandalous, girls, you'll be fine. And we'll move on to the next question.
Let's move on.
How do you guys like to do first dates? I'm not going to go into like coffee or dinner. I'm just going to leave it open-ended. How do you guys like to do first dates? You meet this guy you really like. What do you prefer?
I think I like something short and sweet, like definitely not a movie, something where you can converse with them the whole time, get some real conversation, maybe like a little activity, even like coffee, or honestly, mini golf could be too much. I don't know.
I've done that. It's fun.
I like mini golf, to be honest, because
there's a place down the street too if y'all want to go sometime.
Mini golf, it isn't super expensive. Like I don't expect.
What about bowling? Is that like kind of like the fish hanging up with the? Is
I don't
that
mind
vibe?
bowling, but sometimes it does get a little weird. You're watching the guy walk back from his terrible throw. And
it's almost high schoolish.
Yeah,
like when you're an adult,
I wouldn't
it's
do
kind
the
of
bowling.
Yeah,
No.
It's almost high schoolish. You know, that's almost. I can see you doing that up until probably like you're 21, but after that, no.
The shoes are bad.
Yeah, the shoes.
It's just a little, and it's stinky in there. Like let's
the nails
be real.
in the holes, like the balls are heavy.
It's just too. It's like too much of a masculine thing, right?
Not that it's
no,
masculine.
it's not masculine. It's just that like I feel like that's a date you do when you are learning how to date a woman. You take her to the bowling alley. When you're learning how to date a woman, hey, let's go bowling. Hey, let's go to the movies. You're learning how to date a woman. So those are your things to do, you know.
I think those are also two places where you can also avoid conversation the most and be like, oh my god, you see my throat? Oh, like that's crazy. I can't believe that just happened in that movie.
That's actually a good point. But not to mention too, the food. Chicken tenders and French fries. Man, I ain't had a chicken tender in so long, and I ain't had a French fry in so long. It's childish. I don't want to say bowling's childish, but you
guys, I like
learn.
bowling. I'm just gonna say it. I
you
like
do.
it, and as long as we don't do it all the time,
as long as it's not like
it's gonna
first
mix things
date.
up, right?
Yeah, as long as it's not a first date. I think maybe 17th.
Or a second or a
You know,
third. I just
Not even
couldn't.
a second or third.
I'm like, no, just go with the boys.
Not even a
no,
second or third.
No, pass, big pass. Sorry.
Okay, actually, I do enjoy bowling. Just again, not
I like
not
bowling
the first
too.
few dates. Like
Yeah.
I think once I'm comfortable with the person, yeah, let's go. Like what
Date
else do we have to
17.
do?
There we go.
That's so far.
Date
in.
17. Date
Why are
17.
there like bowling haters here? I've always enjoyed bowling.
Okay,
I enjoy
as long
bowling
as I
too.
don't have my nails.
Let's just establish that don't do it on the first date.
Yeah.
But when things kind of get boring, it's nice to mix them.
Yeah.
There we go.
things up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else on first dates?
I enjoy going out to dinner. That's me. I enjoy being at a nicely dim lighted restaurant, you know, the wine, the steak, the macaroni and cheese, just having a good conversation with a nice woman who looks beautiful in a nice dress and some heels. I'm classic.
Yes.
I will say, you know, when you're dating and you know you're like doing this over and over again, it kind of gets expensive. So now I'm more into appetizers and wine. You know, let's go to a nice place and have some appetizers and wine. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I prefer dinner. You dress nice, I dress nice. Let's have some wine, you know, whatever you're having, and you know, let's have a nice conversation. Let's laugh and enjoy the ambiance, you know.
I agree. I think keeping it classic is nice. Just like getting ready, going
Yeah.
out to dinner, you know, and then afterwards, whatever. Yeah, classic, fine wine
Yeah.
and dining.
I think nothing's ever gonna beat going out to dinner at a nice restaurant and just, you know, having a good old conversation. Nothing's gonna beat that. That's always gonna be top tier.
You know, it would be interesting, like doing something like athletic or sporty to see how you can do as like a team. You know, how you work together.
Bowling.
I'm thinking like kayaking, like summer. We're in the summer,
Ooh,
you know,
that's
like
cute.
summer things. Like,
I think that would be good for like a second or third date.
Yeah.
But I still think first date wise, nothing's beating dinner. Dinner
we
and
got a
just dressing
comment
nice.
right here too from one of my friends. He says, first date, I'd take her to dinner, but after that, I'd tell her to come over and let me cook you something.
That same night?
No, like
Oh,
just a
later.
date, yeah.
That'd be cute.
I don't know.
I like that.
I
But
don't know.
That's
also,
really good.
I don't think I would be open to going to their house.
Yeah, that's
the
what I was about to.
second date.
That, I don't think that's
The
good.
second
Yeah.
time
Yeah,
I met
that's
them,
like
I would feel uncomfortable.
that's like a 7th, 8th, 9th thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
I had a friend that did that on the first date, and
Wow.
he
How did that
didn't
end?
miss.
he didn't.
No,
Did he?
That's great.
He didn't miss. He got something.
that's what he didn't miss me.
Okay, all right. I had to make sure we were both here. You know what I'm saying? Because some people be like, he did miss. Like she came over, she ate, she had a great time, she went. I'm like,
But there's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah.
And he had a whole system too.
if he cooked,
He was like, all right, I'm gonna have her do this, this, and this, so she feels like, you know,
I love
she's
that.
involved, right? He did the
Yes.
main things that are hard so that she kind of doesn't have to get stressed out. And then there was like a
love the
team
team
effort.
effort.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jinx.
yeah, but what
Yeah, jinx.
majority
Yeah.
of women
I
are
gotta be
not
quiet.
going out. They're not coming to a guy's house on the first date. They're not.
Well, it depends.
We're still talking about majority. Majority of women are not going to a guy's house on the first date. Period. That's just it doesn't depend or anything. If you got 10 women and you ask them, hey, which one of y'all are going to a guy's house on the first date? It's a good chance 10 out of 10 is going to be like, nah, I'm not doing
going.
it. I know you're not. I know.
Well, I think he played the numbers game too. So he had to say,
He had
the
the right girl. That's what it was. He had the right girl. That's all that was. You know what I'm saying? Right time, right place. He had the right girl.
Yeah, we got some comments in here too, but okay, so first date, don't do bowling. Classic dinner and dressed up nice is good, but most importantly is good conversation and laughing and vibing. So that doesn't necessarily mean a nice dinner. That
Yeah.
could be
Appetizers
something
and wine.
else.
You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
it doesn't even have to be that.
It doesn't.
It could be something where you guys don't spend any money, but at the same time, then the girl will be like, "Yo, how come you didn't treat me?" So
I don't actually completely agree with that. I don't know if it's because I just graduated, so everyone I knew, no one has money. So I didn't mind when we're like, let's just go to the beach and drink a bottle of wine. Still great conversation. And I think that, like, you know, if we vibed after that first date, after that, the second one, I would expect, okay, we're gonna get dressed up, we're gonna look all cute, we're gonna go have that nice
I'm so
dinner.
with you on that. I would way rather, because I've done the first date dinner dates and, you know, really nice expensive dinner dates, and I just like, it's just like, it's not even the money, it's just like something about you is like, yo man, like I wish I didn't do that on the first date with her. I wish we would have just talked and got to know each other and then rewarded her, you know, by saying like, I'm so happy to see you again, let's do a really nice dinner this time.
I can't agree to that. But I would just say, yes, I would say, I think the time that you waste doing it, if the girl is not worth, you know what I'm saying, what you.
And
but
here's the other thing too. Sometimes you attract the wrong girls by putting that up front. You know,
Yes.
if the girl's gonna be like, I'm only gonna go out with a guy who takes me to dinner first. If she's not willing to go out to coffee with you and not even consider it, then why, you know, like she's not
well,
even
there's
with
nothing
you.
wrong with a woman wanting to go to dinner with you first, but it's when she starts to put money, the type of money you spending, like when women be like,
No,
oh, I
I'd
gotta
way
go
rather have a girl like her where she's like, I'm okay with just
Every
getting
guy
to
would.
know you in the beginning, right?
Every guy would, but women are gonna want to have dinner with you on that first date. That's just the way it is. The thing is when they start putting their expectations of the dollar bill, because a lot of women today, right, will say, you know, oh, I gotta go to Ruth Chris. Well, what's wrong with? Why do you think the whole Cheesecake Factory thing was a big deal? You know what I'm saying? You can't even take girls to the Cheesecake Factory no more. I love the Cheesecake
What happened
Factory.
to the Cheesecake Factory?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's on the list, girl.
Yeah. So
What about Olive Garden?
But that's what even Olive Garden, even Olive Garden.
I
But
do
that's
love
what I'm saying
cheesecake
is
as well.
that it's not the problem of going to dinner. It's just the
love
fact
that
of
list.
women saying, "Oh,
Yeah, but
you
here's
can't
the
te-
thing: if the girl is saying that, she's kind of already disqualifying herself for
Amen.
being that type of girl, right?
Amen." But most men will not say that, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to get a date, we're trying to be with women. So I mean, we can. That's a true fact, but we just got to be on. We have to be honest with ourselves, man.
Hey, who's trying to go to cheesecake?
So
I just went to cheesecake last night.
and I'll
Okay,
tell
but
you,
would you have a problem on a first date for that?
you see that? She
Yeah,
had to say
what's the
she didn't.
hesitation
Okay,
for?
so if I'm planning a first date, right, and he asks me where do you want to go, I don't think cheesecake is my top. I
He
know
shouldn't
some
ask you
cool-
where you want to go.
Okay, he should plan it, right?
Yeah.
And he says let's say he chooses cheesecake.
It's just too bland, huh?
I know so many better restaurants that, you know,
No,
maybe
yeah, but-
same price, maybe less, that have more
That-
flavor. If he chooses cheesecake, that's fine. You want to go to cheesecake? You like cheesecake? We're going to
Is
cheesecake.
that gonna make you think of him differently?
It's not. I might laugh a little because it's on the list, right? And it's
Yeah.
a thing, right? And I go to cheesecake with my family. It's not my top pick. It's fine. It's where he likes to go. It's not a what do you call it?
A deal breaker.
A deal breaker.
Okay,
That's good.
okay. I got a friend, and this guy's spot on with this. Okay.
Okay.
Tell her to let's go shoot hoops on the first date, and
No.
a lot of girls will say no to that, right?
I'm sorry, but I'm not getting sweaty on the first
Yeah,
date.
that's
yeah,
not.
but that doesn't mean you have to like play one-on-one full out. It just means you throw the ball up a couple times
Yeah.
and hang out at the park after dark.
How
and
old
just
is
like
this guy?
Yeah, right.
How old-
Good question.
No.
it doesn't
How old
matter
is
if
he?
you're gonna get a girl
Stop.
that is willing to do that with you. I feel like she's way more of a keeper. That's the one that's like, yo, we got to go on an expensive first date.
I could agree to that, but at the same time, that's not that. No, you don't do that. Stop.
Yeah.
That- no.
I've done it
But
first
I will
in a
say-
date, not the first
I
one.
do want to say
Yeah,
this
like,
about the
after
whole.
that. I
Yeah.
think it's great. It's like the
yeah,
kayaking.
exactly.
Like,
Right.
It's a cute little activity.
I do want to say this about the whole cheesecake thing, right?
I need
You
to
see
put
how
these
you said
comments
you
up.
went to the Cheesecake Factory with you, but if a guy takes you out to the Cheesecake Factory, you would laugh. You see, that's a huge problem. The thing is that women will go to all these cheap restaurants they self, and then when a man takes them to the same restaurant they go to, they think it's funny. They think, oh, the guy's being cheap, this, and that. That's a huge problem. And you laugh at it, but that we have to start telling the truth. A man taking you to the Cheesecake Factory is just as good as him taking you to Roof Chris. If he does not have that type of Roof Chris money, one day he will have it, right? But right now he can't afford it. A man's character is more valuable than the money you will spend at the Cheesecake Factory. But a lot of women don't care about that. All you see is, oh, he's spending money on me. I get to brag to my friends because women like the attention.
All right, but let me ask you this. But you ever seen those guys that they don't even got bread, but they pull the most girls ever?
Yeah.
Like, what is it about that guy?
Yeah.
It's just,
oh my God.
Right?
It's just no, because
what is it about that guy then?
That type of guy, it's just he has
That's the
game.
kind of guy that says, come, let's shoot hoops, after dark. Even if the girl at first doesn't think she'll like it, she'll like him enough to say yes to that.
That's not true, because that doesn't even happen a lot for you to even say that.
That does happen a lot. I know someone personally
one person.
Okay, well,
So,
I know another guy too. I know another guy that invites girls back on the first time to his house. So all these guys that I'm referencing, I'm not saying that they're the majority. I'm saying they're the exception, that they do things the right way.
And the exception does not disprove the rule.
Okay, what I'm saying is that those guys are doing it right. If they're knocking it out of the park and having better success, shouldn't we use them as examples?
Right. No, because they're not the majority.
So you want to look at the whole. You want to look at the whole as an example.
It's right girl. It's right girl, right time. But they're not doing that with every single girl. They're not being able to take every girl home on the first date. They're not being able to shoot hoops with every single girl on the first date. There's no way I could walk up to every single girl, approach this 10 out of 10 girls. If I say, "Hey, you want to shoot hoops?" It's a guarantee that all 10 of them are probably going to say no.
That's not how you would say it. The way that he outlines it out is...
And I get that. It's all about approach. But women are still not going to do that. Just like women...
With that attitude, then yeah, they won't.
No, just like women are not going to come home with... what majority of guys, they're not going to come home with them on the first date. We have to start telling the hard truths, and you got to start speaking in the majorities, because the exceptions do not disprove the rule.
We don't have to speak in majorities, because you know what? The majority of guys are not getting pussy.
That's true.
So why would you speak in majorities?
That's because in that state, right? In that statement, majority of guys are not. But yet the ones who are getting women, right? They're
we should follow their example.
If you follow, let's put it like this. If you follow their example, let's put it like this. Most guys are not getting women at all. Okay? They're not. I think it's 54% of men are single, but it's only because women find only 20% of men attractive.
Because they're not asking them out to basketball.
No, it's not. It's because the reason being is because women go after the top 20, top 1%. That small majority.
Okay, let's let the women. Let the women have a chance to talk. All right.
Those couples, or I'm gonna go with every couple. Who's the more attractive one? It's always gonna be the female that's more attractive, in my opinion. Which just goes to say that these guys are able to pull these women because of their personality. I don't think it's always gonna be the money. And if we're going about majority as well, it's not gonna be the money. The majority of people are not balling that way. No,
that's true. That's true, because
let's let the girls have their shot to talk. Okay, keep going, then we want you to jump in too.
Mm-hmm.
She's right.
You could jump in now if you want.
Yeah, I say in a guy, like, what am I looking for in a guy? It's definitely personality. It's how comfortable he makes me feel, to the way that he can provide that. Whether it's if he can provide things with money and take me out somewhere nice, like. Okay, if it's in a way where his energy is inviting and he's really soft and considerate, and those are some of the things I look for in guys, like that they're just inviting, make me feel comfortable, have good energy, good people,
good friends as well. I think
good friends,
people's friends show like their qualities as well. And if like they're doing drugs 24/7, like most likely your man's probably not in the best headspace either.
Right. Right.
I think that all guys go through this stage. They're like, oh, we have to get rich because all girls just want money. And then you get to a point where you start seeing different examples of guys, and they're getting so much, female attention. All the girls gravitate toward them, and it's because of all the qualities that you listed out, that there's so many intangibles that you can't really see on paper, but there's more to it than the money part, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, let's put it like this. All right. So if let's put it like this. If women only find 20% of men attractive, most women walk past a guy who they should have married, who they should have dated. Most women do. Majority of women say men are trash. It ain't until their later years, when most men don't want them, until when they start settling, they be like, oh, you know what? I guess I'll date Jim, who tried 10 years ago, or they get fat and they be like, oh yeah, I guess I'll try to date this guy. Or, they see that they can't get a rich man, so I guess I'll date him. I'll give him a chance now. That's the way it works. Most men understand that women are hypergamous. They are. They look for the man who has the most resources, the most money, all of that stuff. Yes, they do care about personality. But I know this too. Majority of women, when they talk a good game, but they're not about it. When they say, oh yeah, I care about his personality and stuff like that, they really don't. Not until their later years.
Yeah.
Women want a man.
You want to take a lot into consideration, right? Into consideration.
And that right there is bad for women too. You could get better choices if women actually lived what they said. Oh, I'd rather have a man's personality, because a man's character is more valuable than any materialistic thing that he could get you, period.
Yeah, but from the get-go, when you're first meeting them, you're really going to base it off the personality. Are we vibing? Can we have a good conversation? Does it flow? Is it just comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, you start to check off your other boxes.
Yeah. And then you see, oh man, you know what? He can't provide for me the way I want him to provide for me, so I'm gonna just go for a higher guy. I'm gonna try my best. When that's probably the guy that you should have married. Like I said, majority of women, they pass up on the guy that they should have married a long time ago.
Do you really think that though?
It's true. It's true, but you know why you don't think that?
Stay with their man even if they're not.
I'll tell you why you don't think that.
Let her finish before you interrupt her.
Go ahead.
Because I think most females, they see the motivation in their man. They may not have the money right now. They might not have money for the next 2 years, but they see that he has drive. He has something that he's looking forward to. If they're just a loser sitting at home doing nothing but does have a great personality, then that's okay to skip out on that. But if he has the motivation, he's going somewhere, I think the majority of the girls are going to stay for that.
Yeah.
I like that. I do like that. And that sounds amazing, right? Mm-hmm. And there are women like that. But after a certain while, that's not enough for women. Women actually need to see something tangible. They don't want to hear it. They want to actually see it, feel it, and know it's real. That's just the way it is.
You know what I like? I like analyzing men in the moment. Mm-hmm. How you go about certain situations or how you make your decisions. Are you thought out? Do you take your time? Are you patient? In that moment, first date, all you have is just that moment, right?
Yep.
So, really just observing how they go about things is really big.
Yes, intentions,
right?
That's the word of the day.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so we got started off with how do you like to do your first date, and we kind of went off in a whirlwind. But anything else on first dates, anything that anyone has to add? Okay, we got more questions. Don't worry.
Okay.
I came stacked. Boundaries you think that you should always set early on? Boundaries.
Yeah.
Don't get too handsy.
Right.
I think that's a pretty obvious one.
Don't get too drunk either.
I think boundaries are, you have to know what your boundaries are. Like I personally like taking time to write down what my boundaries are. And then once you know what they are and you're true to your own boundaries, then you know how to like set them in place like for other people.
So what's something that a guy would do that you're like, no?
For example, like first date. You planned a first date and it didn't work out for whatever reason. Okay, let's just go into the story, right?
Okay.
So we
time.
had planned to meet at Javier's for drinks and food. And it was discussed like with a week in advance. Come that day, I texted my number. Hey, good morning. Checking in. Call me when you get the chance. I'll call. And he says, I'll call you. I'm in a Zoom meeting, but I will. Okay. And I'm like, sure, take your time. I had the rest of my day, had errands, whatever. Come 6 o'clock, plans are set for 8 o'clock. I check in. Hi, just checking in. And he says, oh, I'm sorry. I'm at an early dinner for my boss. I couldn't say no, but I'm down to meet up.
Was that
later.
that same night that I met you? Because you told me some story about this. Oh, okay.
No. Different night. I'm like, okay, yeah, don't worry about it. Take your time. No. Don't worry about it. Do your thing. I'm going to stick to the plans. I'm going to go to Javier's and have a good night, right? In that moment, I realized, okay, this person maybe isn't interested enough to go on with the plans. I don't know, just
Wait,
didn't.
what was the excuse again? He said my boss had an early dinner. What does that
He had a
really...
work dinner for a boss.
And he didn't mention beforehand.
Right?
Was he extremely apologetic about it and saying, I'll make it up to you?
And it gets to that, and he wasn't.
Okay.
So
how was he an executive? Like, well, how far up the chain of command was he?
It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Okay,
but
okay.
if he was apologetic about it,
that's the
then
thing.
that would have made up for it.
People show you who they are by their actions if they can't communicate it, right? There was no apology. There was no, let me make up for it, or let's plan something in the future. Or, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you in time. Like, people will show you who they are and what their values are through their actions, even if they can't communicate it, And when you're aware of your boundaries, my boundaries are, I want someone to have those values because I have them and I give them to people. So, yeah, those are, yeah.
Okay, so somebody who doesn't value your time.
Yeah, doesn't value your time, that is not considerate. That doesn't just go by their schedule, things like that.
Well, sometimes, because what I was getting at, me and you were talking about two different things. What I was getting at was that if he's higher up there in that chain of command, most likely, the boss is like, hey, let's go to dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know people that's happened to,
and that's okay. I'm sure she would have been understanding.
I would have been completely understanding.
Yeah. So that's what I was getting at.
What, 2 seconds to send out that text?
Yeah. Well, he did.
Maybe a minute conversation.
He did send out the text. You said you texted him at 6. He said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm at an early
all day.
I'm at an early," because it could have been just a spontaneous thing.
It's not even about that. It's just about the remorse.
It's not the. Yeah, it's the principle of the thing. I get it, but no, we were talking about two different things. I was just highlighting that.
Yeah, I think any person, like, throughout the day, principle. Like, oh, I know, that's pending.
Yeah.
They're waiting, right?
Yeah.
And the minute you find out, right?
Yeah, the minute you find out, you tell them you're right.
That's it. So it shows a lot about a person, right?
Okay, so back to the deal breakers. Was that the question? Biggest...
Boundaries?
Yeah, boundaries. Thank you. Doesn't value your time. That's a big one. That's a huge one, right? Like somebody that's flaky and not valuing your time and all that. Any other boundaries? And I think that was a really good one.
Yeah, that one's the biggest one because it just shows how respectful they are, and that's kind of my take on how I live my life as well. I'm always very punctual because of that, because I think I'm carving my day out for you, you're carving your day out for me. And I think me and my friends kind of stick to that plan as well. We're always on time to each other's things, like 10 minutes, whatever. But like if we made a plan to go get dinner, we're going to get that dinner because we care about each other. We love each other. we just want to always be there for each other, and that's how we show how much how we're gonna be there forever.
Okay, any more boundaries? Let's see, my friend has a comment. Girlfriend calls boyfriend, asks what he's doing. He tells her. He asks what she's doing. She tells him. Dead silence. As a boyfriend, when I am supposed to do next if my girlfriend isn't saying anything?
Like she's not putting in the effort to like exchange conversation like in that time.
And then he follows it up by saying, but was the one who called me. I'm not really sure what he's trying to say here. It started off really good. I was like, oh, this is a good little story time right here. But then I kind of got lost at the end. Elaborate, Charles. Okay, boundaries. Let's see. I'm dating a girl, values my time. That's super important. Is not openly flirty with other people right in front of me.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a big
That's pretty
one.
important.
But like some people have these like really larger than life personalities.
Right.
And that's okay. I like that about, you know, a girl. But just like you said, handsy, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of like a little bit too much. You know, I'm not trying to have my girl be handsy with everyone. You can have a nice personality, and I know guys are gonna hit on you. I mean, I hit on you too, you know, like obviously it's gonna happen, but how you handle yourself. So I think that's a big one.
Yeah, that's definitely a big one.
And then there's like all the values things, right? Like in the very beginning, like how many kids do you want? Mm-hmm. What's your religious background? What are your interests? Like all those things, like you just have to kind of be on the same page roughly so that you guys communicate all that stuff early up front. But yeah. All right, I got more questions.
Okay.
Would you rather be with somebody who wants what's best for you or somebody who has forever feelings of infatuation for you?
Ooh.
I know, good question, right? I'm so proud of myself.
The first one, even though the second one is like, so great. Like, right. I was talking to my therapist, and we really, like, the way we are like fed love, it's kind of unfortunate. It's so romanticized and intense and toxic. Think like 50 Shades of Grey. Think like Cinderella. Like it's always like a chase, right? Like it's always like, I don't know, it's just toxic. So like there's something about like passion and intensity and just like the pushback of like, I want you, you want me, we don't want each other. That's like just so great. But I think at the end of the day, someone that just wants the best for you is just so healthy. You know, like someone that at the end of the day, regardless, like love is not constricting, love is not bonding, love is freeing. It's open. It's like I let you go because I love you, and that idea is so hard, but it's real. You know, so I think someone that wants the best for you, whether it's with you or not with you.
Okay, I gotta chime in. Okay, I was reading this post the other day, and I was like, oh my God, it almost made me cry. So talking about like beautiful love or whatever, old dude, old woman, married, 55 years. They're just doing normal things around the house. Wifey's coming down the stairs, has a heart attack, is kind of in critical state. Husband, and keep in mind, these are old people. Husband puts her in the car, rushes her to the hospital. She dies before they get to the hospital. He's torn. They're having the funeral, or I don't know what it's called, but like the party that you have, the get together. Yeah.
The reception.
The reception before the funeral. And he's kind of like pretty stoic. You know, he's not showing too much emotion, but you could tell he's distraught. And then like it kind of goes late into the night, and around like midnight, he's like, he tells his kids, I think he has a couple kids, he's like, we're going to the, you know, the gravesite right now. And then all the kids are like, yo, it's midnight, you know, it's not the right time. He's like, I'm the one that lost, you know, a partner of 55 years. Don't argue with me. Like, we're all going right now. So they all go. And then I'm getting emotional. At the gravesite, he like does this little spiel saying that like, sweetie, like, you were the best, you know, I miss you, but I'm glad that you went before me so that I'm the one that has to bear the burden of feeling the isolation. I wouldn't want you to have to deal with that. So
wow.
I know, right?
Wow.
I know.
So I want to go
sweet.
with what she said. She said that love is free. I 110% disagree. Love is binding. When you tell your husband who's cheating on you, it's because you're bound to him. You don't want him to do stuff like that. When your husband says, hey, don't walk out the house like that because you're dressed in a sexual manner, it's because he loves you. Love is constricting at sometimes. That's the way it has to be. It's not freeing, oh, you could do what you want to do and all of this stuff. That's not love. When you let people just do what they want to do. If that's the case, then your husband will cheat on you and you'll cheat on him and all the other stuff. It's not freeing. Once again, you see the ideas that since we've been here, the stuff that you two, oh, it's freeing. Oh, girl, do what you want. Most women think like this, and it's to their detriment.
I think we have like different understandings.
What's your religion? Do you have a religion?
I was raised Catholic.
Okay, so we read the same Bible. Mm-hmm. The Bible tells you about love, right? It tells you that a man is supposed to love a woman as Christ did the church. He's supposed to be able to die for his woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's beautiful. That right there is what love is. But it's not something that's freeing. For me to love you that way, I'm going to have to be able to tell you some of the hard truths. I'm going to have to be able to tell you, hey, don't dress that way. Don't listen to this music. That's somebody who wants the best for you. Like you said, that's someone who wants the best for you. But that's not freeing though. You see what I'm saying? So you have to, all women think this way. And I'm trying to tell you, if you all change...
we need to take a trip to like Brazil or something, man. Not all women think this way.
Well, not all, but majority of women think this way. If you all just change the way you think about certain things, I'm telling you, your outcomes would be so much better.
I think
especially
we have
with
different
dating.
Ideas of what freeing means.
That's what I'm saying. We
We might be on a different frequency then.
Yeah, I think a little bit, because by freeing, I think we're trying to say we're free to be who we are. We're not two halves of a whole. We're two different people that come together and make something beautiful.
Even then, see, women want to be loved the way they are. But guess what? Somebody who really loves you is going to love you enough to not leave you the way you are.
What we're talking about here
you should be becoming better every single day.
What we're talking about here is conservative values versus more modern values. Mm-hmm. And I do agree with a lot of stuff. Your delivery is a little bit harsh, but I do agree with the material information that you're talking about is that if you want a guy that wants what's best for you, sometimes he's going to say things in a fatherly tone that's going to come off as a bit controlling. And, you know, that's the difference between a guy who is going to like give you the tough love. It's not going to feel great sometimes, but you understand that, it seems like.
Yeah, it's a partnership. You're both coming together to create something together. And we're both two different men and women operate differently. That's like, no, it's going to be like that forever. And we both have different perspectives, and you feed me, I feed you.
I just have to jump in. You posted something the other day that I really liked. Mm-hmm. It went along the lines of this. The girl was saying that nowadays girls are thinking about like me, what can I get? But there's a certain traditional value that girls used to have. And I'm not saying all girls, you guys seem like lovely girls that would have this value, that would, if you find that guy that you're crazy about, you think a lot in terms of what can I do for him? What can I do to make his life better? How can I make him have more peace? How can I bring, more harmony into his life? Do you guys ever, go Do you guys ever find yourself thinking that way when you find a guy that you really like? Like, what can I do to just make everything for him better?
Not everything. You know, I absolutely live for myself, and I make sure I nurture myself. And when I come to him, in a time of need, if he needs me to be there and supportive and to be his backbone, absolutely I'll be there. But he's got to make sure he's got himself and I got myself.
Let's say he's fully independent already. He doesn't need you for anything.
Yeah. If he doesn't need me for anything,
what would you do for a guy like that?
I hope I can be an asset. I hope my existence and who I
What
am
would you do
is
to be an
enough for
asset?
him to be, or not even enough for him, but for him to want me around. Like,
No,
I
he does.
bring
He does
something
want
to
you
him.
around. But what would you specifically do to be an asset for that guy who's already all well put together?
I guess what I'm good at. I'm a great listener. I'm nurturing. I'm empathetic. I'm, those things.
And I think also you probably have a different perspective on life. You're giving him just different ways to live, or different ways to, and you said you're empathetic. That's adding another layer to his life that maybe he's never seen before.
Yeah, the things that make you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a spiritual person. Like, I'm in tuned with my own self and my awareness and others. I hope I can bring that to him if he doesn't already have that.
That was kind of that opposites attract question that we had before the
Yeah.
podcast. Like the fresh eyes, being able to see things from a different angle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think the girl in the video that was talking, what do you think she was referring to as far as qualities and assets that you can bring to a guy's life that's already got everything?
Well, the biggest thing is listening to your man. I think the biggest thing, because men are dominant. So men are always we're always telling people what to do. We're always making that final decision. If you have a good man, he's telling somebody what to do, and he's always making a final decision. Regardless if he speaks to you or not, his decision is what he makes his decision final. But listening to your man, I think another one is being quiet.
To be quiet?
I'm being.
I don't think the man is always right.
No, let's put it like this, right? Let's put it like this, right? I know I keep bringing up the Bible. Men are not always right. We're not.
Yeah.
But the leader of the household is who?
Us.
No, there is no
Yeah.
us. There's
My mom makes more money than my dad.
It does not matter. See, and that's what we.
Either way,
You see what
they're
we go
both
wrong?
work together.
What, do you have a? Do you? Are you religious?
A little bit.
It's either you are or you're not. There's no little bit. But let's put it like this, right? The man is supposed to be the leader of a household. The woman is the support, right? No, the woman is the support. You don't believe that, but I mean, if you had a faith system, right, you would know that the woman is usually the support. Women were actually created for the purpose of the man. That's what it
y'all
says.
were put here to serve us.
That's what it says. That's what it says in your Bible. In your Bible,
Do your
that's what
job.
it says. But what I'm getting at is, you see how you say it's us? If you go to a team, right, and the team fails, they look at the captain of that team. There is no 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 captains. Not everybody. There is no team. It's not a partnership or anything. I mean, it is
but
a
also
team. I mean, it is a team.
a leader has the capability to communicate in a way where he's the one that's leading the front, right?
Yeah.
He's the one that's saying, I'm going to show by example. So it's all about,
She's saying that there's two heads, that it's us. It's not us. It's only one person. One person is the leader.
what way?
One person. One person is the leader, and the man is the leader in the household. That's just the way it is. The man is the leader in the family structure. The man is the leader.
Maybe in the past. I think that's a very...
And that's the reason why that's the reason why, 40% of American children are born to single mothers. That's the reason why we have all these men who are in jail and incarcerated and all this other stuff. Because like you said, most people, they don't have a 2-parent household.
Okay,
So-
but
and that's
let's
completely okay either. Like, if
That's not okay.
It's a single mother, single father,
That's not-
either way. But in a partnership, if we're talking about a
It's
mother and a father, I think in my family, they're both equals. They both work. My dad cooks, my dad cleans, my mom cooks, my mom cleans.
Those are roles
They
you're
both-
talking about. Those
They
are
both
all
nurture me
those are all-
together.
those are all roles. There's no all that
Then
role
where
stuff.
does the leader of the household come
Leader
into play?
leader of the household means that the final decision is, you know who the leader is.
Oh, then the final decision's always been me. I don't know what you're talking about.
and
My dad,
and
my
that's a-
mom has
and that's-
never had a say
and
in
that
anything.
and that's a problem. That's a problem too. But there's always only one leader. There's one leader to a team. You keep saying partnership.
Okay, but
Marriage
here's
is
the
a-
thing,
marriage,
though.
marriage, relationships, all of that stuff is a team. It's a team. It's ran by one person, but two people work together.
Okay, but here's what I believe. I believe the leader is the most competent person, right? So if the man in the relationship is not as nearly as competent as the woman,
She shouldn't be with him.
she shouldn't. But at the same time, that we live in a society right now where women are more educated, they're making a lot more money, right? So I agree with a lot of things you're saying, but
Education
the man
does-
can't always be the leader.
Education
It's
does
whoever's
not
the most
equal
competent.
competency. Education does
I'm
not
not
equal
saying it. I'm
competency.
saying competency is as
the amount of money you make does not equal competency.
I'm still super confused on the whole leader thing. I don't quite understand this concept that you're.
I get it, but and you probably won't get it.
no,
while
let's
we're speaking.
let's
yeah,
elaborate.
I'm just trying
okay?
to understand like
So
where you're
what
coming
is a
from.
leader's responsibility?
Like, and then within like this is just within a family.
Within the family, they make all the decisions come to them, and they make the final decisions on what money gets spent here, where the kids are going to school. Let's say, can Billy stay at his cousin's house?
Doesn't that
Okay.
sound like
Things
so
like
much
that.
pressure though?
Yeah,
like
I'm
for
not-
the man
I'm-
to like make every single decision about
Yeah, I'm not. I
everything.
don't
That's
agree.
what-
I agree with her. There's a lot of things that I just want to let her take care of.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about leadership, I do agree that the man should
That's-
be the leader, but not those things, right?
What I'm s-
There are like high level things,
Yeah.
that this is where our family is headed. Like she could pay the bills as long
I didn't say that she could not pay the bills. I said where money is going to pay bills and stuff like that. But I didn't say she couldn't pay the bills. She could most definitely pay the bills. Now let's put it like this: it is a lot of pressure on a man. It is. It is 100%, and there's pressure on men every day. The ones who are working the street corners, the ones who are building the roads, the bricklayers, the plumbers. It's everything. And you see how you all talk about, oh, free this, free that. It's because it's easier on you all. But for a man, life is pressure. That's just the way it is. It's the life of a man. And when you all have boys someday, guess what? He's gonna go through that pressure too. Leadership is a burden. But it's a burden that you have to be willing to do. And guess what? Most men are not willing to take on the burden. That's the problem.
But in a company, right? The leader is not doing all of the things. The
He's
leader
not.
is delegating a lot of the work. So
Delegating, but guess what? The decisions are still made through him. He's
some
delegating.
but some of the decisions that you listed out, those are decisions that the woman
They're
could
just-
fully make
yeah,
on
but
her own. And I could be totally fine with handing those off to her and saying, look, baby, you're more competent in these
You
areas.
still make the decision. You said, I'm going to make the decision. You make the decision. So you're still doing, it all goes back to it at the end of the day, regardless. But let's put it like this. Leadership is a burden, and it is tough. It is tough. But guess what? At the end of the day, if you are a man, it's just something that you have to learn.
haven't defined it. Okay, within a family, right?
Yeah. Like
We did.
not
We
within
did.
work, not within
Let's
work.
just talk about some of the high level things that go on in a family, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm gonna go use my friend structure. Man meets woman. Woman falls in love with man.
Yeah.
Man falls in love with woman. They go to bowling on the first date. And now they have a baby.
a bowling date.
And like, a year fast forward, they have a baby, and maybe 2 or 3, right? And they have a house as well. And woman is educated, so she could work, but man is also making enough money to support the family on his own. There's all kinds of bills and all kinds of responsibilities around housework, right? Then there's the income coming into the family. Then there's the way that you raise the kids. So let's kind of like go over the leadership role when it comes to that context.
All right. I'm going to make it simple because we're getting into specifics, right?
This is general. This
Yeah,
is a
that's
family
what I'm
dynamic,
saying.
a nuclear
That's what I'm
family.
saying. We're getting into specifics. So I'm going to make it very... You sit down with your wife, you have a conversation about all of that stuff. The final decision is on the man. Like, okay, this is what we're going to do. You sit there and you talk to your wife about all the stuff that's going on. She gives you her opinion. She says, "Oh yeah, we should."
Okay, but some of these things are too big for the final decision only to be on the man. Like, let's say, for example, yeah.
What?
No,
are
hold
you
on.
serious? You just said some of these things are too big.
Let's just say, okay, let's say, for example, having kids is probably one of the biggest decisions between a man and woman.
Absolutely.
You can't really dictate to a girl how many kids you want to have with her. You could say, I would like to have 4 kids, but at the end of the day, it's the woman's body, and she's the one that has to.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
She's
I'm gonna be honest with you. You shouldn't be with her then, and I'm gonna tell you why. No, I'm gonna be completely honest.
So this woman is perfect in every way. She follows the submissive role that you want her to be, but instead of wanting to, and you want 4 kids and she wants 2 kids. So you're gonna just you're gonna bypass all of the good qualities in her because she doesn't follow that one.
And she's gonna bypass the fact that I'm gonna marry you, give you a ring, make sure we have a house, and you're gonna have a stable life.
Wait. I'm gonna ask you this question. All right, you meet this girl, right? That's not like them. No offense. Okay. That she meets all the criteria that you think a good woman should have, right?
Yes.
How many kids do you want?
4.
Okay. Let's say that you want 4 kids, right? And she's perfect in every other way, but she's like, yo, I think I'm only capable of having 2. Not only am I only capable, like that's a hard rule for me that I'm only gonna have 2 kids. What do you do in that situation?
What if her body also can't handle it?
Let's put it like this. If I love her and she has something wrong with her where she's only capable to only have
that's
2,
the easier decision. We're not asking that. That's
I'm
easier.
gonna get to the tough part.
She doesn't want to.
Oh, she doesn't want to?
Yeah, she only wants.
And she doesn't
You
want
know
to.
how hard it is to find the girl you're describing, and you're just gonna let her go because she doesn't want 4 and she only wants 2?
No, I'm
you know how unrealistic you're being right now?
I'm not
talking about all this practicality in the way that the world is, and that's not very reasonable.
No, let's be honest. If I want 4 kids, there's a woman out there who's gonna give me 4 kids.
Okay, I'm just telling you that the woman that we painted out right now, how many of those women are out there?
There's not.
You know how hard it is to find that girl?
But guess what? There's women out there who are gonna have 4 kids, and guess what? They're gonna have some of them qualities, just like
not some of them. She's got all the qualities.
She obviously
she's the best fit, except for that one.
She obviously doesn't have all the qualities because she's missing that one thing. The thing is this, right? If you're gonna sit here and tell me, and I've had this discussion too before about, because women will be like, I only want 1 kid. All right, well, we can't be together. The reason being is because if I'm gonna sit here and tell you, hey, I'm gonna take care of you, I'm gonna provide you, I'm gonna do this for you, and you're gonna tell me you're only gonna give me 1 kid, that's not gonna work, because that's not an even exchange. I want 4 kids. You tried to give me 4 kids. If you can't give me 4 kids, at least you tried. And I don't even believe in trying, I believe in doing, but I understand that things do come up and that sometimes, you get to baby 3 and you're just like, man, I can't do it no more. All right, well, guess what? You know what? You've been good, you've been faithful, blah, 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 whatever it is, what it is. 3 is good enough for me. But if you sit there and you blatantly just tell me, oh no, 1 is my deal breaker, I'm sorry, it's my deal breaker too, I want 4. That's just it. That's just it. Period. It's not an even exchange. It's not. If I'm gonna do all this stuff for you, get married and do this, because most men are not gonna marry you. Most men are not gonna take care of you. They're not. If you look at statistics wise, I'm telling the truth. If I say I want 4 kids, you should be like, all right, we having 4 kids. And if you can't get 4 kids while you're in the process of trying to get there, that is fine. That is totally fine. But at least you were down with having 4 kids. But you can't, for you to sit here and tell a man, I'm just going to have this, and you expect him to do all this stuff for you, it's not an even exchange. It's not fair.
Back to the question. I think it takes 2 heads to run a family dynamic. Come on. A child needs a father figure, needs a mother figure. Like, just the man making all the decisions all the time. It's just not going to work. I'm sorry. And if you find a woman that's going to do what you want to do,
you're still not listening to what I said, though. Okay, so
right now, let me
go ahead.
Yeah, at the end of the day, when I end up with my person, you know, he's not going to be making all the decisions all the time. There are times where I'm going to bow down to him and he's going to bow down to me. That's how it's going to be, you know?
And that's the way it should be. I didn't say, so let's go back to this, okay? Let's make this clear, okay? You sit down, you talk about with your wife, with your husband, you talk about the things that you all are going to do. You give your input. He gives his input. At the end of the day, right? Only one person is the leader. That's the way a team works. I don't know why when it comes to women think everybody just, you know, makes it. Women don't even do that when they get together. But the thing is that one person makes the final decision. He says, okay, this is exactly what we're going to. Y'all both came up with the list together, but he says, okay, this is what we're going to do. But you both came up with the list together.
But then it's not teamwork anymore.
It's not two heads. It's teamwork. It's just that you have one captain. That's the way every sports teams work. That's the way America works.
Are you comparing a partnership to a business though? Isn't that kind of what you're doing?
You keep saying partnership. It's not a partnership. It's a team. It's not a partnership. That's the way jobs work. That's the way
But it's not a job.
That's the skeleton. Look, you all are getting caught up on the words. Y'all getting caught up on the delivery and not focusing on the message. The thing is that it's the way the world works, the way the skeleton of everything. There's one person in charge. There may be a lot of decision makers, but there's one person who makes the final decision. That's the way everything works. Every single thing works in America.
Let me ask the girls. Okay, I'm not getting caught up in the delivery. I understand the message.
Yes.
Let's say you guys have this wonderful, amazing man, right? Mm-hmm. And he's very masculine, and he's very sure of all the decisions that he's making in life. And you guys get into a marriage, right? And he gives you that feel that this is a 50-50 partnership. But at the end of the day, there are certain decisions where you may disagree with him. And he's like, he puts his foot down and he's like, look, sweetheart. And his delivery is good too. He makes you understand why that this is what it should be. You don't feel good about it all the time, but he puts his foot down. He says, this is the way it's going to have to be. And I can't think of any specific examples right now, but at the end of the day, it's his decision overriding yours. And keep in mind, this man is like perfect for you in every other way. Are you going to listen to that guy?
Yeah, I think so. It goes back to what she was saying. There's going to be situations where you're bowing down to them and they're bowing down to you.
Yeah.
And
if that's your
I have a
person,
question.
Compromise
you
and-
trust
Wait,
them.
let's let the girls.
compromises are going to happen on both ends sometimes. Maybe for a job, like let's say he gets the opportunity of a lifetime. It might be,
I agree.
You might have to move to a different state, but you still have opportunities out there, and this is his dream job. You might be bowing down in that situation. But then we're talking about kids. She's like, I only want one. And you're still giving him kids. You both talked about having kids in the future, and we compromise. He maybe wanted 4. And we'll decide on 1 because now that's him bowing down to me. I've made this move. It's a compromise either way. Mm-hmm. We're both listening to each other, listening to what each other needs.
But would you hold on. I can explain this better than you can.
All right.
Okay. So I don't know where we came up with this bowing down term, but he's compromising on a lot of the things that are important to you, right?
Well, I'd hope it's not a lot.
No.
I would hope we're both happy in the end.
Yeah, for him, he's happy as long as you're happy, and he's compromising on a lot of the things that it doesn't matter one way or another for him. But at the end of the day, if he makes a final decision and you're not 100% okay with it, are you still gonna take his guidance and his leadership into account and say, I don't fully understand why right now, but I'm gonna trust him and I'm just gonna follow him blindly? Would you follow him blindly, or would you potentially lose the relationship over not listening to him?
I think it would really be situational.
It will be situational.
They didn't even answer
You know?
the question. It's crazy. No,
Well-
yes, no,
well, there's
no.
a lot of
unaffected.
factors.
So you're
to be
willing to lose.
considered
You're willing to lose this
sometimes, and it
perfect
depends
dream
on the
guy.
situation.
Whatever the situation is,
If I
he's a
trust
rational
him,
person.
if I trust his
him.
judgment, he makes good decisions. It's with good intent. The decision's gonna, I don't know, it's gonna put me into consideration and him. Then no, I wouldn't let
I have
him
a
go.
question.
I would trust him.
Do you agree with 50-50 relationships? Yes or no? No in between, no ums, just yes or no. Do you agree with it? Would you be in a 50-50 relationship?
No.
Wait, what do you mean by 50-50?
Okay. That whole partnership thing is 50-50. Now, you said, wait, hold
I
on.
don't
And
see
then,
it that way,
of
though.
course, I know you don't
I
see it.
don't
Of
see it
course you
that
don't.
way.
But also, you said it yourself. You like when a man makes decisions. You said that.
Absolutely.
You said that.
I love
you
it
don't
when
even
a man
like-
makes decisions.
You said
I love it when I make decisions.
if a man
it's situational.
if a man
There's
comes
going
to
to
you-
be a moment
Situational.
when my man can feed me 60, 80, and I can only feed him 30, and vice versa.
now that's a relationship.
It's a relationship.
That's a relationship.
You know, I don't believe in 50-50 all the time, always half. Imagine living
Yeah,
a
but
life
that's a
like
partnership.
Like the way that my parents do it
And-
is they have a joint bank account. It's not 50-50. It's we're all just doing everything together.
That's a team. I understand. That's a team.
That's
But
the way I'd like to
But
see
the
it
thing
happen
is
too.
you said it yourself. Remember, let's rewind, right? You said
I don't
something.
have a rewind button right here.
You said something to the fact of you said, a man calls me and we make the decision too. And I stopped you and I was like, we make the decision or he makes the decision where y'all go eat? Because on the first date, a man should be, hey, this is where we're gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Because you want a man who's decisive. I'm talking to you now. You want a man who's decisive. You want a man who can make decisions, is not afraid to make decisions. Matter of fact, you want a man who's not afraid to be wrong, because he might make a decision and he might be wrong, but all he has to do is admit he's wrong. But you want a man who's not afraid to be wrong and who is decisive. That is the quality of a great man, period. And that is the quality of a great leader, because as a leader, you have to make decisions. The thing is that it's a burden for a man, yes, but you want a man who's gonna make the final decision at the end of the day. You want to know what Eve's first sin was? Not submitting to the leadership of her man, because he told her to not eat of the fruit of the tree, and she did it anyway. It wasn't the fact that she ate the fruit. That wasn't her first sin. That was a sin, but that was the second one. You want to know what Adam's first sin was? Listening to his wife. That's why in the Bible, God says, because you listen to your wife. And guess what? This is what your Bible says. So you have to you have to understand that. And I'm not a pastor or anything, but guess what? I am faith-based, because guess what? That's one of the qualities that you have to be a good man. You have to believe in something. You have to believe in something. And you also have to be a leader and be decisive in all of these. They're great qualities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Someone in the
great.
comment said would love to hear more from Tanya. So Tanya,
Yeah. Okay, what are we talking about?
look, let me just boil this whole topic down.
Go ahead.
I do agree with the content, the material. The delivery is rough, okay?
It is.
The content is pretty much this. In a relationship, it is a partnership. It is a lot of people both doing things to contribute to the family or whatever the relationship may be. But at the end of the day, are you willing to lose your guy when he puts his foot down and says, it's got to be this way, whatever the situation is? Are you willing to say goodbye to that man?
No, I'm not going to say goodbye to that
So
man.
you're going to compromise and you're going to take his word
Absolutely.
as the final word.
But it's got to be situational.
But it's gotta
because
be
if my man's telling me you're having four kids,
Given that he's a reasonable, rational person that has your best interest in mind.
Right, then
100%.
yes. Then yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
gonna be
that's
a
what this
reasonable
all boils
ask.
down to, that at the end of the day, you are going to submit to his final word.
If I love my man, yes.
If you love your man, if you have to say if. I know I'm a tough cookie, right? I know.
No,
but
that's
I
a good
focus on
if.
work.
If she loves her man, then I'll take
If you're
that,
with
okay?
a man, you should love him.
Okay,
It shouldn't be if you love your
let's
man.
move on. That's a whole nother subject.
Listen up, relax a little.
I do. Maybe I do.
Okay, let's see. And the tape's probably gonna run out in like another 10 minutes max. So We only went through 4 questions so far. I've got 18.
That's
on
good.
the list.
Conversation though.
That's good dialogue, though. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. And we got comments now too. Okay. Do you guys believe in second chances?
Oh. Yeah.
Feel
Yes.
like you do?
I do.
Oh, you
but-
caught me off guard right there,
and
man.
I do, but it depends. It depends.
Oh, it depends now. You want a yes or no from her on concrete, but now you go being all
Concrete,
wishy-washy.
no. So no, I do believe in second chances. I do 100%. Like me and my ex, we broke up, got back together, broke up, got back together. You know what I'm saying? We did that, right? But then, we broke up. She slept with another man. Can't take you back.
So what's the depends part?
So
It's a no,
But-
you don't believe in second chances.
no, I get when we broke up and was getting back together, this is a second chance. You know what I'm saying? I do believe in second chances.
You think that was right
I
on your
think
part?
circumstance wise. So
You think that was wise to compromise on that,
to compromise on what?
on taking her back?
When? Oh, when we were breaking up, getting back together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
Was that one of those situations where like the love was kind of iffy? Like you were asking her if why would you be?
It
her
wasn't
if,
it wasn't the love was kind of iffy. It's just she would break up with me because my delivery. You know what I'm saying? Because of my delivery, because I'm telling her these things, these truths that go against what she's been taught as a woman. You know what I'm saying? And so I understand that. And then, she would come back to me and I'd just be like, we could try it again. But then after that last time or whatnot, because we only broke up, got back together. I think it was twice actually. But then, that third time we ended, and she tried to get back to me. I was like, nah, you slept with another man. So, but that's why I say I do believe in second
I just have to
chances.
address some of these comments.
Yeah.
This one's kind of raw, but I'm just gonna say it anyway.
Yeah.
Woman asked, "What do you want to do for dinner?" Man says, "Pizza." Woman better make pizza. Okay. And then we got a bunch of laughs at that comment too. That's why I had to address that one. Okay. So back to the question. What was the question again? Second chances.
Yeah, second chances.
Yeah. Let's let the girls go. Second chances.
I believe in second chances because I think people can always grow. You're always gonna grow. Everyone's having new life experiences. There's no harm. I mean, there might be, but
Okay, you're in a committed relationship. You guys have a kid, and you love your man. He ended up fucking some other girl.
oh no, not for cheating. I don't think cheating deserves a second chance. But anything
Tanya?
else?
I've unfortunately given some
I
men
agree.
several chances that I shouldn't have, and I've learned the hard way. I think a second chance is enough. Like if a person lets you down or doesn't respect your boundary the first time, you give him a second chance. If he does it again, he should be fucking
I'm sorry. The dude in the comments said exactly what you're saying. He's like,
Really?
shit, I'm on my 8th chance.
Yeah, no, it's tough because it gets really sticky
Yeah.
because we've got trauma and we've got attachments, and sometimes you can't let go of people, so you give them constant chances that later on you.
What's that saying that George Bush said? He said, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, you can't
love
fool
that
me
one.
3 times or something like that. America can't fool me 3 times or something like that. But yeah, second, I do believe in second chances.
Yeah, I think 2 is the cutoff.
Is it the same for girls? Like infidelity is just as harsh for you guys as it is for us?
Gosh, yeah, it's awful. I think, one infidelity out, absolutely. And what's considered infidelity? Like, I don't know, like talking to another
When
girl.
you just like trip over and your dick falls into the girls?
Yeah, right? No, out.
I think that's the
Absolutely,
symbol
yeah.
of you really loving somebody, is when you only want them to be with you. You don't want them to be, the thought of them being with somebody else pisses you off. You know what I'm saying? And then it actually happens and it crushes you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the symbol of like you actually really loving somebody strong. Like,
But
God
what
made
if you
that
love
person
them
for
so
you.
much that even if they did, you're like, yo, I can't lose them over this?
I think at that point you're just being stupid.
Yeah.
Because I know we are taught that, we're taught that oh man, this could be the guy for you, this could be the girl for you, but obviously they weren't, because they went to somebody else.
Yo, the comments is loving Tanya. They keep saying we want to hear more from Tanya. So second chance maybe, third, fourth chance. Okay, you learned your lesson.
You're out. Yeah.
So second chance is okay.
Second chance is okay.
Like once a year.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Second chance is okay. Yeah. You got to respect yourself. You got to know your worth. You got to know, like, yeah. No. Shit doesn't fly, then no, they're out.
So we're all under the same consensus here that infidelity is a no-go?
Yeah.
Okay. So what were you guys referring to about second chances? I felt like
Honestly,
that's a
like-
make or break is a second chance. If it's not really a second chance, if it's like, oh, it wasn't a big deal, sure, I'll take that.
Yeah, I guess it depends what's a big deal for you. For example, let's go back to that example about the guy that didn't work, the dinner that didn't work out, right? That was the first chance. That was the first chance. He had opportunity to redeem. Let me make it up to you. Be more communicative, more thoughtful, more empathetic, whatever. He didn't. So I guess, would I give him a second chance? I don't think I would, though. I don't think I would. I think that was enough for me to realize, I don't know.
Dude commented on the George Bush comment. It goes like this. And it's actually from Tennessee. He says, fool me once, shame on me. Wait, my bad. Fool me once, shame on you. Okay, I'm gonna say it exactly verbatim how it's written. Okay. Fool me once, shame on, and then it's like a confused mark, and then it's like shame on you. Fool me once, fool me twice, you can't get fooled again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in that J. Cole song.
Yeah. That's what I was referring to. The J.
Yeah.
Cole song, yeah.
Okay, so you could potentially forgive somebody for infidelity one time, but if it's like a repeat thing, then you're gonna be like, yo, fool, you can't fool me again, right?
No.
One
no.
time?
Infidelity is
So why did you forgive the other guys, for doing it like the first time?
What?
Like
Yeah.
you said you forgave somebody for that.
For the dinner,
For
yeah.
the dinner?
Yeah.
No. Like
But
you
not
said
for
you've been in
sleeping
a
with
relationship
somebody. Yeah,
and
no.
you never forgiven someone for that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. How about you?
That's a
No go?
Yeah,
100%?
that's a
That's
That's
just
it.
breaking my
that
trust.
that's disrespectful. That's like the ultimate disrespect.
And trust is gone.
And even if you got back with that person, like you said, the trust will never be at 100%. It'll never be at 100% again. Never.
Well, I feel like this is a good place to wrap up the conversation, especially since your camera died. So, yeah. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
I think it was a little heated, but I like that. I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like that
fun.
makes it more fun. Even in the comments, we got some good comments like, oh, a lot of, conflicting personalities, but that does make things fun. So
Yeah, it's definitely controversial. But
where's that game? Oh, we put it down. We're gonna play Taboo after this, just for a little bit, and I wish you guys were here. It's gonna be lit.
let's do it.
All right. Yeah.
And then we got one more comment that says, "I want to hear from the other girl more," referring to you.
Of course, and there's a guy too, huh?
Yes.
Okay. I've been dying to use the bathroom for like the